This is food. This is beans.
Holy baloney! What a goal! What a goal!
God.
Incredible. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Daredevil Born Again. What are your high level thoughts?
I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I thought
Cool.
it's cool to kind of see this, you know, the old version of Daredevil from Netflix kind of back.
Yeah.
It feels like a sequel that's taking place quite a few years later from, you know, kind of the original show, right. Many references to it. And I think this is a great kind of continuation of what happened before. I think there's like a lot that obviously happened kind of in between those, you know, the end of the Netflix season to the start of this season that I kind of wish we learned a little bit more about. We saw glimpses into that with, you know, She-Hulk as an example, like Matt Murdock is in that show.
Yes.
It's an older movie. Can I spoil? Like just a cameo in a movie?
He's oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can
he's in like a cameo appearance in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah. We're not talking about plot points.
Spider-Man.
It's a cameo at this point. How many years ago was that?
Yeah.
2023. Actually, that's not that long ago.
Yeah.
But,
if you wanted to watch
No, it was
Was it pre-COVID?
2023. Yeah, it was 2023. No, was it 2022?
Dude, no, that was pre-COVID.
No Way Home? No, Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man was the return to the theaters post-COVID. Remember?
You're right, because Far From Home came out after Endgame.
Yeah, like Spider-Man No Way Home was like the first big movie that people were like, "Oh, theaters aren't dead." Oh, good to know.
Oh, you're right.
It's kind of like this, like, but yeah, he's in it briefly, yeah, which is cool. So they kind of threw him in there. They threw him in She-Hulk, which is great. Yeah. I think at this point it would be a spoiler to say he's in She-Hulk if it's a spoiler to say he's in No Way Home. You know?
Yeah, I guess.
Yes,
I feel
really.
like
I wouldn't.
That was in
I
the
still
trailer,
wouldn't
so.
spoil necessarily like the
what he was doing
cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine because there's so many cameos of that, and it's still recent,
including Matt Murdock. Yeah.
No,
I'm sure he's not in it. He's not in it.
No, or is he?
I'll never tell.
No. We just covered our bases. Okay. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, it's cool. It's nice to see him back. It's cool that what's interesting. Disney just didn't make the mistake. They didn't make the mistake of recasting it and trying to do a show and then failing and then going back and saying, actually, Netflix did it right. We're going to do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like they did a great job with actually pulling in the actors from Netflix. They went back to it and they brought back the same plot points and did all that stuff in some way. They didn't just like ditch it. They did a great job with that aspect and made it rated M. They didn't try to dumb it down. They made the right choices, and it's Disney. So they could have easily been like, no, we're going to make it E for everyone or whatever the rating is.
Yeah, it is interesting though, because they almost made the mistake, right? And it got a lot of backlash because when they originally when this show was going to come out, they said like, hey, Foggy Nelson and Deborah Ann Wool's character, God, why am I forgetting her name? Karen, like they're dead. Like we're going into the show, they're already dead. It's gonna be grounded. They recasted Vanessa, like that actress. They originally had her as a different actress. Yeah,
oh, man.
And then so like they were making a lot of mistakes, and a lot of this news was coming out. And I think people put up enough of a fuss for them to kind of go back to the drawing board and rework it, and I guess reduce it from 18 to 9 episodes. And
do you think it was a fuss that was the fans though? I don't think so. Who is really paying attention to it that much? I imagine that it's internally there was a fuss. There was probably two parts of Disney. There's also the people from the Netflix series that might have just pushed back and made it happen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if the fans could have had that much leverage because we didn't see anything yet. There's not like there was even a trailer. We didn't even know what was happening. And then you're right, though, but they still learned and they didn't launch anything that was bad before. That's a testament to them. They did actually did a good job where a lot of big companies, including Disney, make mistakes that are like are really stupid and they're obviously easily avoidable. And they just make these mistakes because they don't pay any attention to what people actually want. Like they never hired Nathan Fillion to do Uncharted until it was way too late, and they never did it He was too old at that point. It's like, why didn't you just do it this way? It's just because you're stubborn. You want Mark Wahlberg to play the role that makes no sense. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's just silly stuff, but yeah, it's pretty neat. Anything else you want to add before I?
Yeah, I think the introduction of a lot of the new characters for this show. I liked a lot of the new cast. I mentioned earlier on when we talked about it, like the introduction of a character named Heather and how there's like a romantic relationship between her and Matt Murdock that they kind of like force on that I felt was incredibly rushed. And I stand by that statement, but I also said that Heather's actually a good character. I think by the end of the show, I'm actually full 180 on that. I think she's a bad character. I think the decisions they made with her character were really dumb. And I did not like it. So I'm excited to kind of dive into that a little bit more with you.
Later, post.
Not
this 108 episode, but during spoilers. Yeah. On the closer look.
Yeah. So I think, to be fair, even the Netflix show, that it had its ups and downs. I think like season 2 is a pretty forgettable season of TV and definitely not as good as seasons 1 and 3. So like, I think this season, from what I remember, is better than the second season, but I don't think it is as good as that first and the third season. Cause I felt like it was a little inconsistent. It felt, funnily enough, I think you were mentioning this. It almost feels episodic in some way at times, while there is still an overarching story, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but there were times where like it felt like things were getting set up only to kind of be brushed under the rug and not really referenced again. Which again, I think is both good and bad. Like it's good because it made for interesting episodes, but for the overarching story, it kind of felt like it was pointless and went nowhere. But I thought it was good. I liked it. I'm excited to see what's to come for season 2 and how it will play out, because the way it ends is spectacular. I think that like that last episode is like, holy fucking shit, dude. Like I was sitting there, I audibly gasped multiple times in that episode. My fiance was like downstairs in the basement and she like heard me going like, oh my God, dude. I was like laughing at the brutality of some of the scenes.
She didn't watch it with you, eh?
No, she'd never watched any of the Daredevil stuff. She doesn't really care.
Okay.
So she had no interest.
Okay.
But yeah, what did you think? Because were you watching this with your fiance, I guess? I'm assuming yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I somehow convinced her to watch the first 3 seasons. I was interested to watch it over again anyway. And it was nice to prep for this as well, because I knew this was coming eventually. And here it is. And so it was nice to know and catch up on that before. We finished it about a year and a half ago, I think, or a year ago. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really like it, and I think it improved in some aspects throughout the season. But I also think like I respect that they really kind of respect the original show in large ways. That as I mentioned already, I also like there's this taking their time with it, that they just don't care that much that it's not a full on action TV show. And they really take their time and make it a law show or make it a more psychological thriller. And there's like, that's something that's very impressive, because there's obviously pressures from a potential greater Marvel audience to make it just a full on action set piece after action set piece and just focus on the fight choreography constantly, which they didn't do. And I'm really impressed with the pacing of it. Mm-hmm. And I like the episodic nature of it. There's something about it almost reminds me of Mandalorian in a way, where Mandalorian's kind of an episodic show, but you jump in and you kind of feel like it's almost like a popcorn thing. You're excited to see what the next chapter is. And I kind of felt like that here too. And it almost comes off as a comic book. A lot of comic books can be episodic in that way. You know what I mean? Like it's cool. I like this. It's neat. The music was pretty great. Honestly, I love the spin on the initial theme and the spin on the original, like the original, what I'm trying to say, the theme, but the starting of the show, not the score, the beginning, the
opening sequence.
Opening sequence. Thank you. Which is awesome. So I appreciate that too. I think that the opening sequence is great. I know. I thought the showrunner did a great job. I thought John Bernthal. I'm not going to say where he's in it, but I think he did a great job. The cast largely did a great job. I think the returning cast killed it. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned on a previous episode of this show, I think it might have been last episode 107, that the heist episode was really crazy good.
Mhm.
There's like a, and I said this already, but the lawyering episodes where Matt Murdock goes into lawyer mode, I thought that was excellent too. And I almost wanted to see more and more of that as it went. That's actually so cool. Yeah. I really like it. I don't know if I said this already, but the symmetricality in the fight scenes was really excellent. Like the way that they showed, I don't know if you recall this, but they do this many times where they have Fisk fighting somebody and potentially Matt fighting somebody, and they have them showing them, they're clipping between them over and over again. There's this idea of showing the similarity of the darkness of Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, and the darkness of Matt Murdock, Daredevil. And that there's this idea that like, where is their breaking point and how are they similar? And they do that somewhat with other characters as well. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's that aspect of it, the symmetricality of showing this side-by-side view of these different characters and kind of making, like, drawing similarities and differences in the way it's shot as opposed to it being more deliberate or exposition based. I thought that was really cool, and it happens constantly, and I thought it was really neat. And then, of course, they did do some great fight choreography throughout. I thought that the fight choreography and the brutality of it was great, and they didn't pull their punches. It's definitely the most violent Disney Plus show in terms of it being a Disney Plus show. Like if we look at like Moon Knight, I thought Moon Knight completely pulled his punches. I don't know if that's TVMA in what way. I don't know, what did they say? The F-bomb twice? Wasn't it?
Dude, I have no
maybe it didn't end up being that. But they said it was.
So
remember,
forgettable.
Somebody had said that this is the most brutal we've ever been, or something. Like Kevin Feige, I think.
I think he did. I think he did, but it wasn't R-rated. Like it still wasn't. Maybe. I think it was still on the thing. That show, I don't remember much of it. I remember the ending was pretty okay. I think the ending kind of sucked. Very forgettable. The CGI, I remember being atrocious.
According to Google AI, the Disney Plus series, The Moon Knight, is rated TVMA. Like what a waste of a rating.
Google
What's
AI?
the point of doing that?
Sure about
why?
That?
Yeah, it seemed like a waste. They clearly didn't waste it, especially because of the end. But yeah, no, it's excellent. I really thought it was good, and I really like this return to form for like Vincent D'Onofrio and Matt Murdock and that relationship. It's so interesting to watch. And they show in the trailer. Doesn't show TVMA?
It shows TV 14.
Oh, wait, does it show TVMA for Daredevil then?
Let's see.
But then what the heck? Oh, you know what it is?
That's what Daredevil Born Again is TVMA.
You know, that's what you get for trusting Google AI ever. Don't ever trust Google AI. That's the moral of the story. Is this wrong? Every time. At some point in the blurb, somewhere it's incorrect. Yeah. It's trying to do a quick search, make it fast. No, can't be right. Why does Google AI exist if it can't be right 99% of the time? There's no point. Just remove it from prime time. Not ready to go. Anyway, regardless of that. But yeah, interesting. So no, didn't we have another show though? We did have one Marvel show that was TVMA, didn't we?
No.
This is the first one. Okay.
Was Werewolf by Night then? That would be the only other one, but I don't think even that one was.
I don't think
that one's TV 14 as well.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. All right, well, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked it. I liked it, and I think it did the original show justice, and I'm very excited to see where it goes from here. And I was saying before, like, again, that relationship between Matt and Fisk, and how Fisk is a freaking, just like shown in the trailer, he's the mayor. I think that's such a good way to pull the story in an interesting direction. And I think when we talk about spoilers, I want to talk about that, actually, the mayor aspect of Fisk and what that means for the MCU potentially. And that's an interesting aspect too. But yeah, I think we're good to go if you want to talk about spoilers, unless you've got more to say about the non-spoiler.
I guess my only other like non-spoiler thing, I think Michael Gandolfini is a standout in the new cast. I think
cool. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Standout, not really standout because there's no standouts in Warfare, but he's great in Warfare as well. Yeah.
So I do want to mention that as well. And again, like we briefly talked about, I do really like the introduction of most of the new characters. Like Kirsten's great, played by Nikki M. James. Yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
So I'm ready for spoilers when you are.
Okay, let's move on. So spoilers now, Adrian, for the good old Daredevil Born Again. Spoilers are occurring now. Audience members that haven't watched Daredevil Born Again, please click the dial. Spin that dial, whatever click the clicker. Get off this channel because you're in the wrong place. Unless you don't care about Daredevil and you just want spoilers, which then I guess stick around. But the Daredevil Born Again spoilers starting now. So he throws Bullseye off the roof.
Yeah, right off the bat. So not only that, but like Bullseye shows up, Foggy, they're at a bar, and Bullseye shows up and just straight up murders Foggy, shoots him. Karen is holding Foggy's like slowly bleeding out body, that hoping that he doesn't die. And it's this crazy long fight scene of Daredevil chasing after Bullseye as he's murdering countless people in this building, only to fucking beat the shit out of him and then choose, I'm going to kill this guy and throw him off the building. And his body lands directly in front of Foggy and Karen as Karen is holding her dead friend and covered in his blood. Amazing opening of a TV show, dude. Brilliant.
Yes, I agree. And then he never puts on the suit for like 4 episodes, which is also incredible, which is like a bold choice. You're just making that choice. This is how we're going to tell the story. I don't give a shit. It's called Daredevil be damned. I don't care if he's wearing the red suit. He can be Matt Murdock and fight people in a bank as Matt Murdock, which was an incredible episode on its own. But yeah, no, it's amazing. And there's this idea that like he's having a crisis of faith, like right away. And simultaneously Fisk then like becomes the mayor in that same first episode, which is a crazy, like it just happens pretty fast, but it happens. I think you had the criticism that you thought it happened too fast, but I don't think so. I think it was maybe a month, but they just kind of elongated it in a weird way.
My major issue is I didn't know what the timeline was because it felt like a couple days. Yeah. Based on what Matt is doing and the situations going on with Matt's life.
But I think it was
for the Kingpin, it's like, it's a day. Like I was very confused.
I think it was weeks because he jumped into the race really late. So Fisk becomes like a candidate really late in the game. I don't think he was running on the campaign trail for as long. That's what the trick is. He was like, he jumped in as a dark horse in the competition and then he won the mayorship, which is interesting. But like there's the worst thing about the show, I'll just jump to my negative, actually, is the way that they did plot convenience. I actually liked Heather Glenn's character for a different reason. I think that her character is stupid for the plot convenience, actually. Yeah. Because there's this aspect that she's the psychologist for both Wilson Fisk, Muse, and she's dating Matt Murdock simultaneously, which is the cornerstones of his life at that moment. I thought that was pretty unrealistic. And that is what I would call small universe syndrome. Like it has this issue where that's why episode 7 is probably my least favorite episode, because it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, how did this happen? It's unrealistic in a large way. And that's my least favorite part of the show, actually. The reason I like Heather Glenn, Dr. Glenn, as a character is because the fact that she is not seen by the audience is because, for me anyway, on a thematic perspective, as the audience, we know Matt Murdock better than she does. And that's evidenced in the show. And that's an interesting poetic aspect of it. We barely see their relationship because their relationship isn't good. It's not communicative. It's fake. There's no point in showing the audience fake things. So they just don't do it. They just show us the real elements of real relationships that Matt has. We as the audience know more than Heather and will always know more. And she's not really consequential in that way. And the way they end it, where they have Fisk give her a job, I thought was quite interesting because we don't really know her. We never really knew her. And she's got this, like, we think we know her because Matt is dating her, but in reality, she's not only
because Matt is dating her, it's because she's very good friends with Kirsten. Kirsten's the one that sets them up, and she's setting like Kirsten has a very good moral compass. And again, I almost wish Kirsten had more screen time because I really love her introduction as a character, but she has a very good moral compass. She is a good person. She knows Matt Murdock is a good person. Assumingly, she knows Heather well and thinks that she's a good person and is like, oh, I'm going to match these two good people up. So for me, the perspective of Heather just being okay with quite literally like a tyrant.
That's not unrealistic. Look at the United States. I'm just going to say that just basically like it's half the population of the United States voted for a guy that's a convicted felon. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to say that's not political. It's what happened. It literally happened. And so they're not the same. Obviously, Wilson Fisk is a murderer, but there's this aspect of it where like she doesn't believe what Matt believes about him. There's this in Wilson Fisk's propaganda tour. He's trying to train the audience and the people of New York City that he is not the bad guy that he's been painted as.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. And that's how he gets in. People doubt it because he says that it's not true. He says it's fake news. And that's the part of it. And I think we don't know Heather. And I think that Kirsten's relationship with Heather and what she knows about it is irrelevant because Kirsten doesn't know Matt.
Yeah, fair.
You know what I mean? She doesn't know anyone. You never know deeply anyone. It's always like when there's like a really crazy crime that happens and like there's a serial killer. And then people are like, they're like the neighbors like, oh man, I never knew Jimmy would do that. It's like, yeah, well, you don't know Jimmy. He's your neighbor. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like, I thought I knew him. It's like you didn't, or like best friends come out and say like they don't know the person who turned out to be Dexter in the show Dexter. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the thing. I don't know if that's a spoiler for Dexter because I haven't seen it. So not one, I guess. But that's kind of the point. I think that that's the trick. I just like the poetic nature of the fact that we don't see the relationship and the relationship sucks. I just thought that initially I agreed with you. I'm like, wow, we're not really seeing this build itself. This development for the relationship never happens. It's like, because it never happened. And it's not important because she's supposed to be like this psychologist, but she doesn't even see inside Matt Murdock's mind or understand who he was. They have a fight at one point in the kitchen. And they're like fighting about going to that party. And she just doesn't see his point of view at all. It's like, man, their relationship is so superficial. Like, it's just not real. Like, they've never had a real heart to heart. And Matt's really closed off around this woman. And I thought that that's kind of intriguing. And I think that her working for him is kind of really cool because on a plot perspective, we don't know Heather. Also, she's got a bad sense of people. She's the psychologist for Muse and she doesn't understand. Like, that's just her as a character it's not that she's a character is badly written. It's her as a character. I don't like her. That's an okay thing. I like not liking her though, because it works. But
I feel like you can make the argument that she's not like, she's a psychologist. She's supposed to be intelligent, at least emotionally, and like understand people, who they are. And she's just like, oh, what? Like,
that's good though. It's interesting to see someone flawed at their job. It's okay.
Yeah.
We didn't see her do really anything that spectacular. She wrote a book. Anyone could write a book and publish it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair. Touche. Yeah.
I don't know. Like and then she just doesn't understand vigilantism. She gets saved by Daredevil and she's just like, oh, I saved me. Like, no, you didn't.
Yeah,
you would have been dead.
Die, dude. Like, yeah, it's stupid. Like, I just feel like I don't know. I didn't like her character. And I believe it's because like, she's poorly written in a lot of aspects. And
okay. Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, like I do see your perspective though. That's fair. I do like your point about like the poetry in it, where it's like we don't see the relationship because it's a bad relationship. And whenever we do see the relationship, it does suck. And I love the aspect of it, like, again, it is very superficial. And when in the finale where Matt is like waking up after being shot or whatever, the first thing he says is like Karen instead of Heather.
Yeah.
Because he still loves Karen. Right. And we see, like, when Karen shows back up, you see that immediate connection. It's not superficial. Karen knows Matt deep down.
I feel like it may even be just a friendship thing, though. I kind of get the impression that they won't be an item. I think it will be actually Punisher. Yeah. I think it will be Frank Castle. And there's like the fact that she kisses him on the forehead, too. I thought that like at one of the last scenes of the show, like at the finale, I was like, yeah, I don't think that they are romantically going to be linked. And I think that even Matt understands that. Yeah. I think he gets that, which is cool. I think he says that because he knows that, to your point, that Karen cares about him actually. Yeah. And that Heather has Heather clearly doesn't care. She's sitting in the freaking hospital and she's crying about the fact that Matt thinks that Wilson Fisk is a bad guy, even though the guy went to jail. It's kind of an interesting thing because it's just like, there's this cognitive dissonance for some reason that people think that Fisk could possibly be a good guy. It's so absurd.
It's crazy because it's even referenced in the show. Like, I forget which character says it's like didn't that guy like smash someone's head in with a car door? Like, is a literal line in the show? Like,
that might have been the BB report, by the way. Which the BB report I thought was really cool. We should have talked about that in the non-spoiler part. Yeah. I think because that's more relevant. And I feel like it's not really a spoiler, but that BB report aspect of the show that they keep breaking it up and the way it's shot is really cool. And the fact that BB is literally the daughter of what's his name now? I love that character in season 1 though. Excellent. Just like one of my favorite, actually maybe my second favorite character in that season of season 1 of the what's his name? You know his name? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You don't know who I'm talking about at all though?
No, I can't think of it. You're giving me a revelation right now.
Oh, okay. So like I don't know if I'll find it quickly. He's in almost every episode. He's working with Karen Page the entire time. Ben Urich. It's like the journalist who literally is going after Wilson Fisk, and Ben Urich ends up going and meeting his mother in the old age home. And then he's so pissed off, he goes and kills him. I'm like, oh man, I didn't see this guy dying because he's such an awesome character. He's such a great character. He's excellent. And that's the daughter of Ben Urich. That's which is so cool. And the connection is awesome. And the fact that she's kind of being buddy with Michael Gandolfini's character. And then simultaneously, she's kind of just cozying up to him so that she can try to take Fisk down. Mm-hmm. They don't go enough with that though, because near the end of the season, we don't see what she's up to, which I feel like that could have been a better way to end as well, just to have her, because she's kind of the army against Fisk as well, theoretically. Or maybe not. Maybe they're trying to make that specifically.
They do that little bit of setup where she talks to the commissioner and like kind of like, hey, like, you know, I'm trying to figure stuff out.
Right.
So like there is that like hint, like she's still doing something, but she has no play in the last episode actually at all.
I know, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah. I do love the relationship between her character and Daniel Blake, played by Michael Gandolfini, and like how they're both essentially trying to play each other until like, you know, she gets the up on Michael Gandolfini. Like earlier on in the season, Kingpin is like yelling at everyone, being like, I'm going to find out who the leak is. And I love that part of his character where he just is like, it was me. Like, I made this mistake. I made this blunder. I'm going to do anything I can to never make a mistake like this again. Like his performance is so good. And like, as Daniel Blake is obviously a shitty person, but I like his character a lot, actually. Like, I think he's like
entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Just like Wilson Fisk, very entertaining to watch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio, I think, does an amazing job. He's obviously he's such a dickhead. Yeah. I hate him.
He's a murderer.
He's such a bad character.
Murderer.
A bad guy, not bad character. Like well-written character.
Yeah. And also like kind of the one of the surrounding guys, he doesn't get too much play, but Buck, who's like around them.
Awesome. Thought he was going to be dead though. Thought he was going to die.
He did not though, which I'm excited about because he's just kind of there in the background. He says a couple lines here and there, and I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. There's something cool about this guy.
So there's like it drew on the elements of what happens in season 1, where there's like this boss fight element, or like the people surrounding Fisk are important characters. Mm-hmm. There's that gentleman in the first season of Daredevil season 1. I can't remember his name, but Karen kills him. And he was an interesting character, and I'm drawing that parallel to Buck. That's kind of a similar idea. It's like the second in command. Like Fisk really loves Buck. Buck is going to die eventually. And when he dies, Fisk is going to lose his lid. His top is going to get knocked off.
A quick aside here, it just kind of reminded me of this. I do want to talk about in that first episode as well, when Fisk is talking to Matt and like says like, hey, I had nothing to do with Foggy's death. I loved that scene. And then later on the revelation that it wasn't him. Actually, Vanessa was the one that commissioned Bullseye to kill him. By the way, Bullseye survives. When he gets thrown off the building, he doesn't die.
Which is so cool.
Yeah.
Wilson Bethel's really great in this role. Mm-hmm. I don't see this guy in anything. He's doing a great job.
Episode, actually.
Oh yeah, one episode of the OC. Yeah, he's hit it big now. Yeah. But no, it's great. He's great, man. He's very, very compelling, and the idea that he can't really miss, really, and the fact that Matt actually takes a bullet for Fisk, which is a crazy moment. He's just such a selfless human being. Like it's
that's my kind of confusion though. And they talk about it because like Frank Castle's talking to him like why'd you take a bullet for him? And then he literally says like I'm trying to figure that out myself.
He can't help himself.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
Yeah, it's like he's a good-hearted person. He doesn't want even the worst person around to not die. But it's also like a frustrating character flaw to watch.
Like Batman. It's the same idea as Batman, right? Batman will never kill the Joker, but alas, if you killed the Joker, how many people you would save? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Is it a character flaw? I don't know. There's got to be a line you can't cross. So I feel like it does matter. You have to take him down the legitimate way in some way. I mean, it's not legitimate. You're still a vigilante, but
yeah. And I really love that aspect. It's like, you know, Wilson Fisk is like, cool, like Matt Murdock saved me. Perfect time to actually kill this guy. It's like, he's not grateful. Right. He's like, okay, wonderful. This is a perfect setup. I can actually kill Matt Murdock and Daredevil in one quick motion. He can't even protect himself. Right. And then again, he sends Buck into that hospital to do that. Yeah, so good. The also just like the fight scene in Matt's apartment with him and Frank Castle, all the cops coming through, and you're watching these two guys, you know, Matt as Daredevil trying not to hurt, like kill anyone really, and Frank just being there murdering cops, blowing their fucking heads off,
point blank range, shooting people in the head.
Yeah, it's so cool and badass. I love it. And again, I've said this before. I've told you this multiple times. I love Jon Bernthal as an actor. He is such an over actor, over the top, so intense. Not an over actor. Brings 100,000,000% to everything.
He's getting to the line,
and I love it.
He gets to the line and then he doesn't go over it. That's my theory. He's not an over actor. He's killing it.
He's like Hideo Kojima, how we were talking about, where Hideo Kojima goes over top, but it's somehow still good. That's Jon Bernthal to me. He's always like 100,000,000%.
No.
Just always. And I love it. In everything I see him in. Huge fan of Jon Bernthal. And he seems like a good guy.
I agree with. I'm a huge fan of him because he straddles the line of the top. That's the best thing about him. He's doing a great job, and this is a great character because he is over the top. He's a character who's written over the top in a way. Like he's straddling the line as on the written page. So it makes sense there. But yeah, it's crazy. He gets captured too, which is nuts. But yeah, the idea of these guys though, that's such a, speaking of poetry, these guys with tattoos on their neck of Punisher, and they're going in and they're getting killed by their hero. Yeah. It's so magical. I love it so much. But then he gets captured and kind of takes away from it a little bit. But I just thought that was like so crazy. He gets captured
after killing like 15 cops. He's literally surrounded by like 30 police officers and kills almost half of them. And he's just going through it until he gets captured. And even when he's like tied down on a chair, the one cop's like, dude, people think you're a hero. They love you. They idolize you. Like, please, like, don't make us do this. And then he just like does this awesome monologue of like, you guys are fucking idiots for like idolizing me. You have no idea what I've been through, the way I think. Like, you're fucking nothing. I would kill all of you. I wouldn't even I think the line is like, I wouldn't even piss on you if you were on fire. Like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, he's so cool.
He wants to die though. Like, clearly he's constantly, even in the show, his own show, he just constantly wanted to die. And that's that's a character flaw if you want to talk about one for sure. But it's like, it's interesting because they don't kill him. They capture him. They throw him in that weird dungeon with a bunch of people, including Tony Dalton's character, the swordsman, right? His name is
I think that's the character's name from Hawkeye.
Which is, he's in Hawkeye, but he's like a long time Marvel character, which is super interesting. And I like that they didn't really have him as a vigilante in the Hawkeye show. Like he wasn't. Is Kate Bishop's sort of, I guess, adopted dad? I'm not sure how that relationship ended up being, but depending on how the Vera Farmiga mother-daughter relationship, or I guess mother and spouse relationship went. I'm not sure.
I have no recollection of how that show ended.
How it ended? Well, I remember how it ended.
I didn't like
directly connected to this.
No, I remember
Kingpin
like the Fisk stuff, and
I
remember that stuff, but I don't remember anything with her character.
Okay.
And like Tony Dalton's, and it's interesting because Tony Dalton is like, I think the second or third name in the opening sequence. Guy's in it for like a total of 2 minutes, the entire show.
Like, doesn't it change up though? It's when he's in an episode, then his name is in the opening.
Oh, was it? I noticed it. Maybe I just didn't pick up on it, but I noticed it in the last episode where it showed up. I'm like, and he's not even really in it. He's in it at the very end, and he doesn't. Yeah, they just
give it away. They give it away before the show happens. I don't think he's in every credits scene, like every opening sequence. I think he's in it when he's in it. His name is there. But it's cool he's in it. It's cool and he's captured there. I like the idea that he just didn't capitulate to Wilson Fisk, because it makes it look like he did, but then he didn't, clearly, because he's thrown into a prison.
Yeah,
I love Tony Dalton. I gotta say, I really like him as an actor.
Me too. Me too. I do as well.
But we talked about how they bring the old characters and they bring in new, and that's really interesting. There's an aspect of the fact that they kind of took everything that the Netflix show was, though, and burnt it. They just burnt it all. Like Foggy gets killed in the first 20 minutes of the show, as an example.
Yeah, brutally.
And Karen leaves town, which is nuts. So they basically take everything that Netflix show was and they change it. It's same with Fisk as well. Fisk becomes the mayor. They completely changed up the formula for what the various components became. I didn't love that initially in some aspect, because I thought they were just kind of, it was a bit of a cop-out. Like they really wanted to get rid of these cast members, and they tried to do that, and even the plot points. But then I realized as the season went on that they were actually honoring it in large ways.
Yeah.
Like, there was aspects of like Karen coming back, which was huge, I think. And then also like the avocados at law, like going through the boxes and having these flashbacks without actually doing a flashback this time, and remembering the relationship he had with Foggy Nelson, and what a kind of a catalyst that was for him to become the hero that he is, but also to not be Daredevil as well in the beginning of the season. I thought that aspect and trying to find yourself throughout the season was the beautiful aspect of it. And it's cool to end it after this 9th episode, because of course, as we know, there were supposed to be 18 episodes and they split it, which I think it worked. I think as a finale, it really worked quite well. It's quite neat to see that happen. But yeah, I thought like they did honor the Netflix show. They didn't just throw it in the garbage, which is excellent. And I really appreciate that. But yeah, that's something. And then there's also, because we talked about it already, John Bernthal killed it. John Bernthal, there's a fight scene with John Bernthal simultaneously while Kingpin is crushing a man's head.
Yes.
A character, by the way, I like that actor quite a bit. I think it's Michael Gambon, isn't it? Not Michael Gambon, no. Michael Gaston. I think. I know him from various things, but Michael Gambon, no, not Michael Gambon's
Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, right?
Michael Gaston, yeah. Michael Gaston. I think it's Gaston. I don't know.
Gaston.
Gaston. But Michael Gaston's great. I also like this idea that Michael Gaston is just a very tall dude, and it just didn't matter. Like he's kind of a small man in the shadow of Wilson Fisk, even though he's a taller man than Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
Just the way that they did it. That task force is also completely brutal and crazy, and like they just get away with everything. And now they're kind of unchecked. But like I know you told me in the car when we were driving to or from seeing the IMAX movie there, but you were saying like you were so shocked that his jaw, like his whole face is completely.
Yeah, he's like holding his head, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is brutal." And then all of a sudden, he just like pushes his jaw out of place and tears off half his face, and it's like hanging there, and there's like blood everywhere. And yeah, that was the scene where I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I literally started laughing because I was just so unprepared for that brutality. I was like, "Oh my god, dude, brilliant!" And again, as you're mentioning, like that's the scene where Punisher's like killing like 15 cops before he gets captured, and it's so good. But he kind of sets himself up to die there. It's interesting, and then he escapes by the end of the episode. You assume he escapes, but he breaks the one guy's arm. He's like, "Oh, you like me? You know who I am, right?" And it's like,
he's getting the keys. He's escaping. That's the whole idea.
It's like, it's a pleasure to meet you. We don't. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, we don't actually see him escape. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess that leads to the next question before we wrap this a closer look up. What do you think will happen as the season goes on? Like what will happen, not the season, but I guess the second part or the second season moves on. What do you think is going to happen? This season, second season, is scheduled for early next year. They said this spring, which airs before another sort of street level hero now at this point movie comes out, which is Spider-Man Brand New Day. So Brand New Day comes out in July. This next season of Daredevil Born Again is supposed to air before that happens. I guess he won't be mayor anymore because of what Vincent D'Onofrio said in an interview where he said that there's some kind of rights dispute that makes it so that he can't be Kingpin in a Spider-Man movie or a movie in general. And I find that disappointing. I would really hope that he would be the mayor. I really want Vincent D'Onofrio to face off against Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That's a secret desire of mine. It's not so secret because I'm saying it on a podcast, but I do want that to happen. So I'm hoping that does happen, but I imagine that they're like going to wrap up this arc in that for second season there, and maybe he won't be mayor anymore as his criminal activities come to light. But yeah, I imagine that Bernthal escapes. Yeah, like Bernthal's Frank Castle. But what do you think is going to happen? Do you have any thoughts?
But before I give you my thought, do you think there's any potential of Spider-Man appearing in the second season?
That would be incredible. I hope so. I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope it does.
I was almost expecting him to show up at the end of this season while everything's kind of going to shit.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think it will. Like, I don't know. I'm just going to set myself up for that. But I would love that to happen. And yeah, like so if the second season is aimed for early next year, I think they're filming it already. And they've added cast members. Is the Punisher show that John Bernthal's doing, that kind of one shot, that he's doing, that's supposed to be in vein of Werewolf by Night. Do you know off the top of your head when that's supposed to come out? Is that going to be before or after?
I don't think they said yet, did they?
Yeah. Because like that'd be cool if that's kind of like the in-between cool. It kind of shows like what happens immediately after, and then like we have a little bit more of a setup. But I don't know. It's interesting because I actually don't really know. Like I have no real predictions of where the story is going to go. I'm just more so curious. Like I think it's going to be kind of way more brutal. I think there's going to be more violence. We're going to see these cops kind of be bad cops and continue to kind of control the streets. Again, there's martial law that's going to be in place, 8 p.m. curfews. I think it's going to be a very different season, and we're going to see a lot of fear in citizens' eyes. And I think they're going to do a lot more intense, brutal action post 8 p.m. We're going to see some police brutality, most definitely. But yeah, honestly, I don't know how it's going to all play out, apart from a climactic moment between Daredevil and Kingpin again. That's really all I got for you. I can't really imagine anything else.
There's also, we talked about the law aspect in the non-spoiler portion of this, where we talked about how it was neat that they were doing like court cases, but like the Victor Ayala case, the White Tiger, I thought that was excellent.
Yeah.
I just, that whole arc was excellent. And like the lack of hope there was once he gets murdered.
Yeah.
He just gets killed by the dude from the task force.
Oh yeah. And then like his like niece is introduced. We didn't even talk about her. And like her essentially being kidnapped by Muse at some point, and then Daredevil saving her and everything like that. I thought they were really setting up that she was going to realize that Matt Murdock and Daredevil were the same person. Like I feel like they set that up
in the future,
and then they just didn't touch on it again. And she didn't show up until again the very end of the show, and it's just like a brief scene, her being on the streets, seeing cops be pieces of shit.
When there's big events happening like that, though, she just doesn't fit in that.
I agree. But like she doesn't show up. Like that was episode like 5, I feel like, where it happens, and then she's not in it from that point on. So maybe 6. I don't really remember the exact timeline, but
I really appreciate Fisk and Vanessa's marriage rockiness, though, and the fact that they're in counseling as well. We didn't bring that up either. That is really quite a neat aspect of the whole situation. And the fact that Fisk has this guy in his dungeon, he's going into his darkness while beating him half to death, like every night, because it's his outlet for the violence, that he's just never left his actual, he's pretending that he's this great, good guy, but he's really beating on Vanessa's lover in secret. That's a cool aspect. That's the first time where I really noticed the symmetricality with the fight scenes, where they show Fisk beating on a guy while Daredevil has finally gone out for the first time. He makes an exception, I guess, to go fight Muse. Maybe not to do it again, but he ends up going out again because he's got to save his girlfriend, his beau, who doesn't even appreciate it. Yeah, literally. But that was a really cool symmetricality. But also the idea of like a Fisk and Vanessa having a rocky relationship is really cool. I thought that was really neat. aspect of the story.
Yeah, and I really love essentially him just telling Vanessa like, I can't live without you. Like if you don't want to be with me, then I don't want to live. And essentially gives her the gun to like make a decision, like either kill this guy or kill me. Like that's what I took from that situation. It's like, if you kill him, we can continue our relationship and I will be happy and I will be the best husband to you, or kill me because I don't want to live if you don't want to be with me. And I love that. And that's essentially how they solve their relationship problems. I really like Vanessa as a character because she's just as fucked up as Wilson Fisk is. Like they have a very codependent relationship. And yeah, I really love that aspect. And them just talking to Heather being like, we don't need therapy anymore. We're fine. It's funny. Like it is genuinely funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's excellent. Yeah. Like, you talked about maybe Tom Holland showing up in Daredevil. That would be excellent. I hope it happens. I'll say like they are more willing to bring in the rest of the MCU, obviously, because Netflix didn't have a relationship in that way with Marvel at the time when they were making the Daredevil original show. Mm-hmm. And so like the fact that they had Yusuf Khan as an example, just as a throwaway character in the bank for that heist episode, which is excellent.
Marvel's dad, just to clarify, just so people know.
Right, yeah, Kamala Khan's father. Mm-hmm. But there's something, that episode is incredible because he's fighting without the suit. I just love that aspect of Matt Murdock, like putting his life on the line in that way. But it was almost like he's a spy inside he's like, because there's an idea of underestimating the blind guy that they kept going back to repeatedly in this season, which I really appreciate as well. Because they didn't do that I don't think they even did that at all as much in any of the 3 seasons of the original Daredevil on Netflix. And I really appreciate that aspect. And the fact that they could take the time with it because they pace the shows in such a way that they're just not rushing almost anything, mm-hmm. except for the relationship between Matt and Heather Glenn.
Yeah.
But no, I like this a lot. I thought they did a great job. I'm very excited for season 2. I tried to look up to see John Bernthal's standalone, but I don't really see a date. It says will air in 2026 alongside the second season of Daredevil, but I don't know if it's going to be
before or after.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
I guess we'll see. But okay, it's exciting. Super, super, super cool. It's one of the better shows though on Disney Plus for the Marvel shows, I think, like as a whole. My rating for this is a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same, 4 out of 5.
Same thing, 4 out of 5. So that gives us 8 out of 10 for our 8 out of 10 potatoes. 8 out of 10 potatoes. I forget to say that part. But 8 out of 10 potatoes. And that's it. Thank you for joining us, audience. Thank you for joining me, Adrian. I'll see you on the next one.
I'm Adrian. You said no. Me, Adrian? No, me, Adrian, dude. Me, Adrian. You, Simon.
There's a comma. You're misplacing the comma. Regardless of that, I would like to say goodbye. So see you later. See you on maybe another closer look for The Last of Us. Who knows? But regardless of that, thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Take care. Goodbye.